Hey guys, Saf coming at you with another Raid Shadow Legends video. We've just had the announcement of a new Fusion champion. Now I was quite surprised by this. I would have thought we would have had a week before we would have had news around a new Fusion. But we have had an announcement today that there's going to be a new Fusion starting this week. But it is going to be an epic Fusion. Normally we have like this mini epic Fusion next month because we have a September fusion and then they want to try and tie things up for a Halloween fusion, so there's kind of too much time between the September and the Halloween, so we end up having like an epic filler. We've had like Bergoth in the past, I think he was an epic filler, and there was a couple of other things. I think Hordin may have been one back in the day, a long time ago. But this champion here has been announced. Let's take a look what we have on offer. So on Thursday, August 25th, so that'll be this Thursday, we're planning to launch a champion fragment event with a new champion, Nogoryo. So it's a fragment event, so that means it will probably be quite lightweight. As it's an epic, these things are normally quite easy to do. They're not normally extremely difficult, and they tend to be a little bit shorter than a full month. We've got the faction being Shadowkin. He's going to be an epic attack magic champion. So very much your Genbos of the world in terms of where they seem to be positioning him. Nogoryo is a strong epic damage dealer whose skill set is heavily influenced by increased attack buff. So if you don't have a good damage dealer yet, he can easily fill that spot. Let's take a look at his kit. So it feels very much like we wanted to make Genbo again, because Genbo has the interactions with his increased attack where he can steal buffs and do lots of different things. So yeah, it's feeling a bit carbon copy at the moment. With A1, he attacks an enemy twice and deals an additional hit if he's under increased attack buff. Additional hits like this will probably hit quite hard because the assumption is you don't have the buff, even though this looks like it's kind of built to do it. But normally the way it's coded is the first two hits are coded as guaranteed, and then the additional hit is like sort of a same multiplier. The development assumes you're not going to get that extra hit, so the damage is actually quite high. He also has a chance to place block active skills debuff when with each hit. Okay, block active skills is not bad. You'll need accuracy though, so if you're making a damage deal and you need accuracy, that's already a bit of a red flag. Using A2, Nogoryo attacks one enemy and places block buffs. But that's not all. If he's under increased attack buff, Nogoryo will steal all buffs from the target enemy before even attacking. So that means if that works the way I think I'm reading this, he will be able to do this on negative affinity as well, because he's going to do it before attacking. So therefore it doesn't matter if you weak hit the attack, he'll do the buff strip and steal before that attack. Okay. Accuracy still is going to be needed though. Nogoryo's A3 is an AoE attack. He also helps himself to use this skill more often as he decreases the cooldown by 1 turn when attacking under increased attack buff. With the help of the passive skill, Nogoryo places an unremovable increased attack buff on himself whenever an enemy HP drops below 30%. I like that that's unremovable. He can be your main or sub damage dealer for Shadowkin and give your enemies lots of trouble on arena. Okay, so that's kind of what player believes him to be. His kit is very much a damage dealer centric focused, all based around increased attack. That makes sense. He's an attack based champion. You're going to need increased attack anyway, so that should be a given. Let's just take a look at the skills and the cooldowns now on the render on the screen. Attacks one enemy 2 times, places an extra hit if this champion is under an increased attack buff. Each hit has a 20% chance of placing a block active skills for 2 turns. So, as I mentioned, you'll need accuracy. 2 hits plus a third is great. That'll solve Rotus issues if you were using them against Rotus. There's no block revive, so single target on an A1 is not great. But if you need something for faction clips, you don't have a Genbo, then this guy might be a good option there. Block active skills is an okay, but at a 20% chance, depending on how it books, it might book to like 40%. 3 hits, that's not a bad chance. You should be able to land it. Then we've got Abduct by Night on a 4-turn cooldown, which you'd hope would book to 3. Attacks one enemy, places a block debuffs for 2 turns. If this champion is under an increased attack buff, steals all the buff from the target enemy before attacking. Now, I'm not really sure the utility of that skill. I would almost... like, a single target block buff is not good for Hydra necessarily. He probably is going to be very squishy, so he's not going to be useful for that. If this champion is under an increased attack buff, steals all buffs. I can't think there's anything in Faction Wars apart from the Man-Eaters, I think, that you'd want to steal buffs. It might be good in Arena, but it's a single target. We'll see. Faster than the Eye is a 5-turn cooldown. Now, based on the fact that you can decrease the cooldown of this when attacking, it's probably going to be booked to a 4-turn cooldown, and then that's the nuke. Attacks all enemies, decrease the cooldown of this skill by 1 turn when attacking under an increased attack buff, and then of course Murderer's Lust, 3-turn cooldown. So there will be a cooldown element that you can't keep it up all the time. Place an increased attack buff on this champion for 2 turns when an enemy drops below 30%. So there is a world in which you could possibly make him useful without having an increased attack buff. That's actually quite useful somewhat in Shadowkin, where there's not an awful lot of attack buff champions. I think Sachi is one of them. But there's not crazy amounts, so he can provide his own damage boost and his own requirements for his own kit. So it's an epic fragment champion. He looks pretty cool. He's got like little picks by the looks of it. Typical Shadowkin looking champion. Feels very much like Gembo's brother in terms of his kit. He works around increased attack. He's an AoE nuke. He's going to live and die by his damage, as with all exclusively damage dealer type champs. Yes, he does block buffs, yes, he does block active skills, but you're going to need accuracy for those. And if you need accuracy, then you start looking at, does he have enough in his kit to justify adding that accuracy? Probably not. So really you're looking at this going, okay, that faster than the eye needs to hit really hard, needs to hit on a Gembo level. The sort of single targets are okay. They'll probably hit the A1 might hit really hard as it's got an extra hit. But yeah, he's going to live or die by the multipliers. We don't know any information about the length of the fusion or sort of what events are going to be covered by it. That might come later on as we get closer. But this is Nogoryo starting on Thursday, the 25th of August. Let me know what you think in the comments below, guys. Are you going to be excited about pulling this champion? Do you even need a damage dealer right now, or do you find that you have enough? I know a lot of people have been doing referral accounts, and you can get Chonuru, you can get a couple of other champions now for free when you first start Talia. Are they a better nuker than this guy? Who knows? I'm sure we're going to be getting more news this week. Ultimate Death Knight has been doing his rounds on Twitter. I'm sure there'll be more information about that. So as that comes to me, I will give it to you, and I will catch you in the next video.